Alright my friends, I got an easy mod for you guys to do at home here. This is not the first time I have talked about this mod, but because I needed to do it for this Trail Finder 2 and its Blazer body, I wanted to maybe update the video and kind of muddle through this with you guys so you can see a real experience and some of the tips that I learned the last time I did it. Now before I get to the inside wheel wells, I just want you to have a look at these old flat iron tires. Now I had a gentleman on Instagram say to me that this truck actually deserves more than just these 8-hole old axial bead locks. But that's the beauty of what I've done here, I think, is because it is an old classic truck, I'm going to use old classic axial bead lock rims because I think it does set it off pretty good. Now what I'm going to show here quickly for you guys are these old Proline flat iron tires that actually used to come with the original SCX10 back in the day from Axial. You'll notice here, and I've also done a video on this like back in 2010, I think, if I was guessing, maybe 2011, where I take a stock set of flat irons and I actually cut out every second tread pattern. Now this is not new to the RC world, of course, but I know we have many viewers here that are new to the hobby and or new to the show, and I thought that, you know, for a helpful, easy trick for you, if you wanted to upgrade because your tires had maybe too much tread in here, go ahead in with a pair of sharp scissors, go and try not to cut right through the rubber. I'm very lucky because I've done it before and my sealed bead locks are still sealed. I didn't add any holes. But if you need more hookup and you know, just overall crawl ability, maybe modifying the tires you have is already something you can do at very low to zero cost, as long as you don't mess one up. Also, I have upgraded this truck. You guys know that I had to rebuild the axles on this. I have done that, but I'd rather get straight to the tutorial to help folks that are here for that. So let me take off the bod here. Take this truck, put it out of the way. Some folks may remember that I've done these wheel well mods before. And in fact, viewers of the show may remember that I changed my Beast truck over to the Monster Mustang, which really is just built for mud. Now, yes, I do have a flat tire. Unfortunately, I had a rip in this tire and I have to replace it. The rip was so bad I couldn't just repair it with tire glue. But what I'm really focused on this truck for is this top splash guard and battery holder that I made from simple Gorilla tape. It's kind of like duct tape, but I find it's a lot more stronger, it's really durable and can stand the test of time. Now you'll see that I actually, at this time when I had built this one, I made it not sticky on either side, so I just layered up the tape. Also, I made a separate box to go behind the shock tower here, as well as to hold the entire 3S 5000 milliamp battery. So all this here cost me less than a roll of tape. Here is Gorilla tape, guys. If you don't know what this is, it's not sponsored or anything, of course. I'm just here to show you what I've done in the past. Gorilla tape is a great, super sticky fabric tape that can put up with a lot of abuse and water. I've never really had a problem with any of it coming apart in the water on my other truck, so that's a bonus. It does come in different colors if you want to use white or whatever, and in different width, thickness. Here's the small one, here's the step up, and of course then there's one that's very wide, but too wide for the purpose that I need today. So what I want to do is start my wheel well behind this shock tower. You'll see on either side I have ample room to do that, but one side of the tape itself is not black, of course, right? It's just the gray sticky adhesive side. So I'm going to start off with a fresh piece. Get rid of this one right here. I'll use this, save it, because I'll be able to use it later. And I'm just going to go ahead and kind of measure out where I want my wheel wells to be attached. Right, just measuring out, kind of using my eyeball. And because I don't want it sticky on either side, and plus I want it to look fairly enclosed, I'm going to cut a strip that's just short, just shy of the length of the other strip of tape I'm using. Careful now, you get this stuff stuck together and it's never coming apart, so make sure to line it up on either side as best as possible, leaving some end exposed. Now it doesn't have to be perfect or anything like this. I just want to have the end exposed so I can line it up with the other pieces of tape I'm going to use shortly. And it looks like Right about there is where I want it to go, and I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. So we'll cut that end tab off, even though I just told you to cut it. But hopefully you're watching the video as a tutorial and you can use these ideas to make it fit for you. And right about there, I'm just going to stick that end piece that I have, that little tab, right on the end, so it kind of holds it in place. This piece here itself is actually going to be separate from the ones that I use on this. Just get into the other side, cut my zip tie holding my servo wire. Just trimming the other side to get the best fit I could. Just trimming, making sure everything fits snug. I was going to use those open-sided pieces of tape to help stick it on initially and then just trim it off. So I've already gone ahead and trimmed it off. What I've done here is I'm making sure that this top piece doesn't come higher than the shock mounts themselves, right? Because I don't want any interference in any type of body that I want to use on this truck with this getting in the way of mounting it. I want to make sure that I actually start mounting up the bod so I can have a look clearly on how far this wheel well has to go into the actual engine bay. We'll see here if I measure from this point onto the inside of this shock hanger right here, I should be able to have something that slides down and fits fairly flush in there. Now I can, always put it in front of my back wheel well to make sure any kind of mud and stuff just kind of hits it and rolls down instead of being shot into the inside engine area. Okay, the body is properly mounted, though it's not screwed in. I'm going to be looking at here at making it roughly 2.5 inches deep on that wheel well to get behind the shock towers. The other thing I have to consider, even though it's only 2.5 inches, is I'm going to need some extra tape itself just to kind of bend and mold. So more than likely it's going to take several pieces of tape to get this to work, whereas this tape is just shy of 2 inches. So I'm going to start with 2 sheets. Basically that are going to be overlapping, because I want to add yet another, but roughly the same size as the other one. That's what I like about this kind of tape. It's easy to work with. You don't have to use your scissors all the time. It tears nicely. There we go. I'm just going to overlap. Try not to overlap the actual tape itself, so I'm not creating too much of a bump, just laying it flush as best as I can. Like I said, when you stick it together, it's kind of tough. So unlike me, pay attention to what you're doing and run it right alongside so you don't have any exposed sticky tape. There we are, roughly looking like that. Both sides are exposed. I'm going to run one more piece just because of the depth that was necessary. And of course I can always trim it. That was terrible, but close enough. You guys get it. This will be the inside, so I'm not too worried about that. So now I actually have a fairly, well, we'll just kind of stick it all down, a fairly pliable piece that can easily pass for plastic on the inside of the wheel well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Here's where I'm going to muddle through it with you guys. Don't worry, I'm going to get this to stick in there. Once everything is completed, I'll have everything in place. I just want to make sure I'm mocking it up properly. Okay, so something like this. So it looks like I'm going to have to cut in to help it fold a little bit and get it to exactly where I would like. Number 2, let's have a look at the inside of this and see what kind of, if we have the right distance or the right amount of material that we need here. We do. And since this will be the inside, we want to use the sticky part. I'm just going to start wrapping it here just to kind of have a good idea of what's happening. I don't mind trimming it as I go. So it looks like that self is going to have to bend down. And so I'm going to have to make some cuts here. There we go. And if I do that, I'm going to be able to start curling over this piece as a wheel well. You'll see what I mean. Going to make another cut here to help the fold. right about just over an inch, maybe an inch and a half. And as I start to fold it over, I'm gonna bring this piece right here and just kind of corner it right in this area and use a piece of Gorilla Tape to seal that up. Remember that one I needed to use earlier? Perfect area for it. All right, so I'm just going to attach this small inside piece temporarily so I can actually not have it moving around on me while I'm doing the install of the other piece on the body. That way it won't move. Now I'm going to trim it down a little bit here, just because I know that I've got some lenience. Oh, sorry about that. And beautiful. Let's keep it like that for a moment. Pretty rough cut, but nonetheless, my tailgate just opened on me. I'm going to try and fit it in the holes, because you can't test the wheel wells unless you have it fitted perfectly where you're going to have it. You're also going for ease of use here, so I want to make sure that it's not too hard to install when I put it in. Yeah, looking good. Battery cable out of the way. Beautiful. Okay, so even though it looks a little like it has that white piece right there just from the Gorilla Tape itself, it'll be covered in dirt soon enough. But this whole inside, including this area where everything blows into the cab from a spinning tire, is now finished. So that white line that I could see on the inside, I kind of want to tidy all that up. So I'm taking yet another piece of tape. Seems like a lot of tape, but it's not. I've barely used any on this roll, and we started just a few stretches of tape ago. I'm going to take it, put it halfway up like this, because we have all those uneven lines, and I'm going to go ahead and carefully just fold it over. By folding it over, not only am I creating a nice finished look on the inside, but I'm also adding strength to the inside of the wheel well here, right? So everything's nice and perfect. Now I'm going to trim this off. Make sure it doesn't interfere with anything on the inside. Now to keep it super simple, I can go ahead and make sure that I've got extra support before I do anything with the inside seating area, and just tape this down. Actually, what I'm going to do is cinch it up so it's a nice tight line for that added strength, and then attach it to the bottom of the seat area. Okay, with both sides done, now I need to reattach this servo wire so it's out of the way of the spur gear. Beautiful. That's perfect. Now with that out of the way, I can refit the front cover. There. Now my mounting holes are exposed still. You can see one there, and then there's one on the other side, and this whole area is nicely protected. I want to take care of this little oversized piece. A lot of you may be wondering if I could actually build a shroud right over the top, and I absolutely can. If I want to build something that'll help protect it even more, it's very simple. It's just like what I was doing with the double-sided tape before. I'm not too worried at all about getting water splash. Now I know water is going to go into the engine, but or to the motor in the engine bay, but I've already protected that particular piece itself. But I just wanted to show you, if you wanted to build a shroud, you could definitely do that and have the mud just basically fall off the motor, because really mud is the motor killer. Okay, so now that you know how to do the shroud, I did put a piece of tape in front of here just to kind of finish it off, just so we can have some front mud protection. But now you are able to see that with just a little ingenuity and some thought, you can actually upgrade your RC right at home with very little money. Cutting the tread pattern gives me a super extra awesome grip, especially with these original flat iron tires. The Gorilla Tape itself, you know, pennies, and of course just some scissors and a razor blade. Here, look, even when I kept fiddling off of camera, this is what I ended up with. I was going to put the body on, do all that stuff, but I thought I might as well update you and show you, just because I made this an entire enclosed case. Now, you guys may be wondering, am I worried about heat with that big motor in there? I still have quite a bit of airspace in here, as well as directly underneath. And if I was running this particular motor flat out on, you know, like wide open areas, I would be more concerned with heat, but really I'm not. So now I will go ahead and put the body on and show you. Beautiful. Looks like Captain Spaulding has everything he needs to have a great run on the trail today. Overall, my friends, I'm very, very happy. We've been able to see the inside wheel wells. Got a bit of a reflection there, but everything is taped in there nicely. Very well protected from any of those little pebbles and mud shooting up into the pinion and spur gear area. I can move this out of the way. You can have a look here. Everything fits well. If you've ever seen the scale engine and transmission that fit into one of these Chevy Blazers, it is super cool from RC4 Drive. But because I don't have that, I still want to keep everything protected from the mud, get all this, you know, because less mud in your truck and on your truck means a better performance when you're out there doing some serious trailing. And my friends, if you think that is a helpful tip for you, something cheap and inexpensive, please smash that like button, give us a thumbs up, because really the RC hobby is about what you can do with what you have. And if you can overall modify your truck with some easy tread cuts, give yourself a little bit more edge in the mud, and protect your insides of the truck with some Gorilla Tape, why not? It only costs a couple of pennies. This can be done, hey, I'm talking here. This can be done with any RC at all. If you have a Lexan body, you want to get in there and mold yourself some protectors or flares on the inside. If you have a hard body, it doesn't matter. Get in there, use your ingenuity, be the mother or father of invention, and help move this hobby forward for others. Make sure to share, and if this is a helpful tutorial for you, please smash that thumbs up button, and we will see you, my friends, in the next episode of RC Adventures. Now get outside and have fun with the hobby of RC. Bye.